Hi, this is Mark with Smack Drum Samples. I'm going to walk you through how I like to mix drums for a pop rock type project. And I'm going to show you some of the samples that I used of ours and give you a little preview. All right, so I have an API channel strip on every channel, and there's no EQ or anything when we start. So I usually like to start with overheads. Let's pull these guys up. Not too hot, not too cold. Before I start EQing or doing anything with the fun stuff, I like to get a good balance over all of the drums. So I pull up the overheads, pull up the kick, we got a kick in and a sub kick, and they sound out of phase. There we go. Next, the snare. Snare bottom. And some toms. Hi-hat. One thing I find quite often is, if you notice, I'll turn this up, the hi-hat snare bleed is out of phase with the snare. So that dramatically helped our snare sound already. There's no ride, so I'm not going to pull up that mic. I've got some stereo rooms and a mono kind of trash mic. Cool, so I kind of get a balance. And then I start to EQ. And I find that EQing with everything going at once really helps with the overall tone when it's done. Gonna roll off the garbage that we don't need in these overheads. Find kind of gross sound right there at 700. Cut that. Wait till the cymbals come back around. And maybe add a little bit of top. So this is with EQ, no EQ. It's subtle and it still doesn't sound that different, but it is different because we're getting rid of the stuff that we don't like. Oh, that was my dog. That was Thanos the dog. All right, kick drum. Little bit of a point for it to come through. Add some top. So with EQ, without. And these subs, I usually just get rid of all that high end for any bleed. Snare. And usually right around 200 hertz, it gets a nice beef. Find a stick in there. And some of that nice cut high end. Starting to poke through a little bit better. Snare bottom. Yeah, sounding good. Move over to this tom. Get rid of that. Nice bottom 100 hertz. Something on the top. This tom is only played ever so often, but we'll kind of start with a match of what we had earlier. And we can adjust once that guy plays. Yeah, there we go. Hi-hat. Get rid of a lot of that mud. Find a little bit of the top for when he plays. We'll wait till he comes back around. Yeah. All right, these rooms. I'll roll off, but I like to boost a lot of low end in rooms. Find a snare gets more body, and the cymbals kind of tames the harshness of cymbals that you can get in room mics. Yeah. It's getting better. And then the mono. It's kind of so beat up and gross already, I'll probably just leave it for right now. Yeah. So if we hear it real quick, before and after EQ, that's where we started. And it felt like we did very little the whole time. And that's where we are now, which seems like an incredible difference. This is just where I have my drums bust, nothing going on there. All right, so once I get an overall kind of balance and good vibe tone going, I don't grab compressors just yet. I like to add in samples because sometimes those samples will give the illusion of what a compressor does. So I'll show you first. We have our smack kick sample. If you look up here, I had the phase flipped so it would be in phase with our real kick. And I'm using the transatlantic hard shots. Whoops. The transatlantic hard shots. And I'll solo these out for you guys. So this is our in, recorded at multiple velocities, so you get that real feel. And then we've got the smack track. So the smack track is a heavily processed, as you can hear, parallel processor. That was my friend Steve from Punchline. I'm currently mixing their record with these samples, and I love it. You should check it out when it comes out. I don't know when it does, though. All right, so transatlantic hard shot smack. So this is super processed, so you don't have to do another parallel processing there chain for your kick drum. You can just kind of put this guy in, and it kind of does that thing for you. and you can always blend to taste. And then I have a stereo room sample in there because we recorded these drums in a really small room and I want to get a sense of space. So that's with our kick in there. Just a reminder, this is where we started. It's with our kick. And now let's check out the snare. So this snare is from Taco Tuesday. Here's the close, snare 4. The snare for Smack Track. And then another stereo room. All from the Taco Tuesday pack. It gives it a real nice whack. Right, so this is our drums before compression with EQ and samples. So if I just mute the samples, you guys can hear how big of a difference that's actually making. But it's not taking over the vibe or the player's feel. They really blend nicely with a lot of genres of music. All right, so now let's go into some compression. On the overheads, I usually like to squeeze them a little too hard, but then I like to back it off a bit. So this is with compression, that's without. You can hear it just kind of opens up the room even more. This kick, it's kind of flubby. So I went with a transient designer on it to give it a little bit more of a precise attack. Punch through a little bit more. And the snare, I love the arouser. I almost prefer to distressors just with the options. The thing that's great about this thing is you can kind of clip it. So if you look, same level, it just sounds like he's beating the crap out of it. Then we'll go over to the rooms. Really beat these guys up. You'll be able to hear what I try to do once we get back to the hi-hat. Trying to make the hi-hat kind of pump out. If you guys can hear that. Kind of creates a really cool groove with the hi-hat. And then we got our trash mic. All buttons in and really just beat it up. Try to pull out all the ring and all the noise in the room. Give those cymbals crazy decay. And kind of blend that in. To give us this kind of vibe. So this is a good drum mix. And then we'll mute our samples again. It really gives the dimension to the kit. It really fools you. Makes it sound like we recorded it in a huge, expensive room. And we didn't. So just one more reminder. If we go through, this is where we started. And then this is where we are now. So I hope this tutorial was fun. I hope you got to see a little bit of how I like to use our samples and what they can do for you. And maybe you learned a cool trick or two, or maybe you just said, hey, Mark, I know all this stuff. Show me something I don't know. Either way, I'll see you guys again soon with some more stuff. We're gonna do creative tutorials on how we use this stuff in pop, hip hop, everything, indie. We got a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline. So I will see you guys soon. Later.